We're common loaded for bear. Alright, I'm just pulling out. It is Saturday. I don't know. April, was it the 18th or something? West Coast Shootout, Albany, or Woodburn, Oregon today. So it's like 6 o'clock. Gonna go get my dad, and we're gonna go test this car for the first time. Excited, nervous. Sure is pretty. So stand by, everybody. I'll hopefully have some results for you here soon. All right, so test pass number 1 here. Didn't really make boost. Slow. Went a 5.1 with a 126 60 foot. So having problems spooling. It's down boost because I was missing some RPM. It's just loading against the converter. So anyway. Things I gotta fix. One of my burned down tubes was missing the O-ring. The connector, the RCD connector is missing some O-rings, so I stole some out of my vacuum and just forgot some things this morning. So first rip of the year, but the car went nice and straight. I never touched the wheelie bars, but we'll be getting after it, and hopefully it'll get up on the chip and make some power. Maybe I'll have time to edit this while I'm at the racetrack, but we got to be ready to leave on Thursday. It's Sunday. We took the car out for the first time on Saturday, yesterday. Today's Easter. And struggle bus. Just a couple of things. Was leaking my burned down tube. The RCD hookup was missing its O-rings. So I'm guessing all the masking and taping and stuff and rags in there and stuff caused the O-rings to disappear. So that thing was leaking oil and making a mess. What else? Oh yeah, the car wouldn't spool. Well, it would spool. It made 16 pounds, but the converter was just getting held at 4,500. And at first I was trying something different in Holly. I wanted to only open one. I wanted to open all 3 dumps. I usually do that, but I wanted them to shut off, 2 of them to shut off before I release the button. Usually they're just on, and it's killing some wheel speed off of the button. So that was my plan. What I did in the tune didn't work. Holly's race ICF is pretty awesome, but it doesn't allow you to do that. Maybe that's something you guys need to change. Anyway, so I just went back to the old way. And again, it spooled a little bit better, but got down to 4,500. And then my bump didn't work. And my bump didn't work because I don't leave at 4,500. And I didn't have good bump settings in my computer. I do now. Or I tweaked them a little bit. So I sat there, 7 seconds of spool. I was actually there at a race. So I'm in eliminations. I'm like, bump, 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 bump. I hit that button 10,000 times, holding it. Meanwhile, just, and I'm not even on the 2-step because it can't get there. So it's just, it's pretty hard on shit. So that sucks. Anyway, old trustees going back in there. I'd like to make a stator change in that, but my crew guy talked me into not doing that because we got too much other stuff that's new. So got this thing tore apart, and diapers out, and we got the tranny out. So we're jamming this thing. There's old Trusty, about ready to go back in there. But everything else went pretty good. So I got to leave Thursday midday and drive to Reading. And the motorhome's kind of untested. Me and the wife ran out there. We had to clean it today, pack it. Bless her heart. She is rad. And yeah, we got that thing dialed in. Without my wife, I don't know what I would do. Anyway, sorry, picking stuff. Trying to make sure this thing's on point. Anyway, yeah, so changes, converter should be fine. I mean, fast enough. I'd like it to do some different things that it didn't do, but to get help with stators, they always say, oh, well, did you do this and did you do that? Well, my chassis was twisting so bad, I really couldn't test that thing like I needed to. But I know what I'd like it to do, and I don't think all the changes I made aren't going to change that. It needs to pick up, and it slips too much out the back. Anyway, so stand by. Yeah, probably conclude this video, and I'm sorry. I'm just 900 miles an hour, man. So talk to you guys later. See you at the next race. Well, not really what I want to be doing, but it's got to be done. This thing has pulled out the top of the valve, and I was trying to see if I could get it off, and I can't. So let me show you. And I can push that down about half an inch and the valve doesn't move. All right. Sorry, I've been absent from YouTube. Been thrashing on the car. Been trying to race. So I don't know how I'm going to throw all this together and edit it, but I'm going to do my best here. I took the car to Woodburn Drag Strip to the West Coast Shootout and struggle bus. You know, it's kind of like some new car blues. But I couldn't get the car to spool, and it was pretty frustrating. So did that, and then my bump didn't work and some different things. So I come home, I'm like, well, it was a new converter. It wasn't a new converter, but I ran it when I had a standard input shaft, and when I upgraded to a big shaft, it didn't work anymore. So I sent it off over the winter and had it tightened, and then we converted it to a big shaft. So with all the new stuff to the car, we got a new motor, we got a rebuilt tranny, we got the new rear end, new suspension, all this framework, chassis work, and I wanted to take that out of the equation. So I came home and I pulled the converter out on Sunday. So I raced on Saturday, come home on Sunday, pull the converter, and then I was talking to some friends, and they're like, man, maybe the camshaft needs advanced. Cam guy that grounded it, John Bewley's no longer with us. So I couldn't pick his brain, but I thought, well, it's close, but it wouldn't get to the chip. Like it wouldn't get to the two-step. So anyway, come home. I'm like, I'm going to degree the cam. I pull the intake. I start degreeing the cam. I found some issues with the rocker arms, and that led me to a valve that the retainer had. It's a lash lock combo, so you can't see the top of the valve. It replaces a lash cap and a retainer. They're really bitching, but it had pulled through the top of the valve. So Tuesday night, I pull the cylinder head, lap a valve, put it back on, fire it up Wednesday, load it in the box. Thursday morning, we leave to go to Reading. So get to Reading, and it won't spool again. I got old trusty converter in there from last season. So I have data on it, and I just can't. I mean, 13 times I spooled the car, cooled the tranny down every round. And I'll tell you what I found. But I tried everything in the tune. I mean, it was getting close. It would get to like 4,400. I'm trying to get to 5,000. I lowered the two-step to 4,400. It would get to 4,200. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out because it didn't sound like it was missing. I had some cold EGTs. I'm changing out coils. I'm going through everything I can think of. And my buddy called me, and I was like telling him I was about ready to give up. Anyway, so found the problem, fixed it. All the work that I did made the car spool in like 2.3 seconds. It is awesome. So that's cool. We go up, we start making passes, and it goes like 108 60 foot off the trailer. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just chip away from here. But it was down on power the whole way out the track, and go up there again, try to launch again, and it bumped, or what did it do? I don't even remember. It's such a whirlwind. But anyway, it was down on power again, and it was missing like, making like half the boost it should. So it was slow. And I don't remember, did I not get a slip? I think I got a slip. Anyway, so I come back and I turn the thing up. I mean, loaded for bear, all the power, fuck this thing. And it goes up and doesn't make boost again. Like it was just down everywhere. The track like it like pulled the motor down. The track was really good, and it like pulled the motor down. And so I get back and I'm like, what the hell? So we found that I was adjusting the timing and moving the cam sync, and I pulled one of the air lines off the blow-off valve, and it must have blown off on the first pass of the day. So all that for naught. So now we're going into eliminations, and I went through and found some tranny leaks. I had to make a new tranny hose in the morning, and I changed the oil in the tranny because I had a bunch of spools on it. And anyway, so fast forward, going to Elim 1. Loaded for bear, and I hit the bump, and it spools in 2 seconds. I hit the bump, and it bumps like 4 or 5 times all the way through the tree, and then comes to a stop. And I'm still on the chip, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll at least get a little data. The thing left hard, it launched great, but I didn't stay in it because I'm not gonna, like, the car got kind of sideways in a couple of passes because the power was kind of coming in late. Even though there was a 60 millimeter hole in it, it was making 20 pounds of boost down track. So once the RPM got up, it would do that. Anyway, so I go back, I pull the trans cover and everything. I exercise the trans brake a million times. I'm thinking there's got to be some crap in the valve or something. because the trans brake holds fine. And I checked the computer. I only hit the bump once, and the computer only bumped it once. So kind of checked all the obvious stuff. Go back up there, and I heard a noise, and I decided to run the car anyway because I was mad, and let that be a lesson. So now I'm tearing the motor back apart because a bunch of stuff's fucked up. So stand by. I'm going to show you guys some passes and the struggle bus, but I'll let you know what I find when I get this apart. See ya. Here's something. These lifters are from Brad Miller, and these are freaking awesome lifters. They have no needle bearings in them to come out, but one of the things I like to check is you want to make sure the link bar ain't bent. Should float really freely, and that does, but there is a little tight spot down here, and I'm guessing that maybe it, when it junked that, I think it's the exhaust push rod freaking bounced around in there in that cup. And it might want to walk out from here on out. So I probably need to get a lifter. But, yeah. I ran a tap down in the rocker arms. But what happened was, I think we just had an adjuster failure. And it snapped. And this one came completely out, which is really weird. And I'm guessing that was the intake side. And that's bent. The exhaust one is not. But the exhaust lifter was shot kind of out of the seat. Or I'm sorry, out of the block. You just kind of want to make sure that none of that stuff. So that rough spot, can't feel anything. But it might be just worth running a quick little hone down in there and making sure we can touch that up. Anyway. Alright, so quick update. I got this thing apart. I walked you guys through the little video on the lifter. Brad Miller made me those lifters at BAM Lifter. I don't know. It's probably coming up on like 3 years ago, or maybe even 4 years ago. But they were in this motor, and then it kicked a rod, put a bunch of holes in it. My other motor's inch lifter, and I don't like needle bearings in the roller on the lifter because if you break a pin, the needles will go everywhere, and they're really hard, and they eat a lot of stuff. I don't like lash caps, and I don't like needle bearings in the lifter. Now, there's people that make them, but I called Brad, and he made me these lifters. Hemi blocks don't oil. They don't have lifter oiling, or these old KB blocks don't. So they rely on splash like a Briggs & Stratton, and we wanted something that would live, and I never was really able to put these through the pace. So, Brad, these are bitching. Thanks. We got a lot of spring pressure here, and this thing's 20 pounds of boost on the two-step. So anyway, we're letting this thing eat, and really, I'm just going to get a couple spare lifters for some peace of mind. I feel like that push rod cup from that push rod bouncing around in there is just going to want to try to walk out the back of the cup up against the back of the lifter, and that happens sometimes. But I'd rather just put another one in there and have that as a spare. So I also want to get some spring collars from my friends at RBS Supercharger. I feel like, I don't know what caused, I think that adjuster just broke. But if I'm in here again, I'd rather just take these springs out. These springs are cool because you can just walk this thing over. But they make a lock collar to get rid of this spring. You could probably still have the spring on it, but that lock collar allows you this lifter to not the rocker arm to not deflect. All it takes is this thing coming off a little bit. Like sometimes I imagine it would rather try to walk than open this valve because of this angle. So it's probably a good idea to have lock collars on here. Plus you're going to have no deflection, and everything is just going to have a more stable valve train. What's awesome is I have no examples of a push rod starting to burn itself. So far this thing's pretty healthy. I got to get some new foam end seals also, and what else did I want to do? Oh yeah, need more rocker arm adjusters. I have a couple of spares, but we need more. In this video, we were suck. The Nova, you know, typical race car, dude, just give you nothing back. Just take and take and take. So I'd like to make a full pass in this thing. It sucks that my bump's not working. I got to figure that out, and then I need to go back over everything again and just yeah, maybe not drive 7 hours away with a two-step that's not working. That's probably a good idea, but I didn't want to miss my first race, and I was excited to see all my friends. So yeah, she is a bad bitch though. Look at that. Look at it. Oh man.